Hi, guys. Welcome back to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. This is your host, Iggy. And today we're going to look at a uh, Brit and an Aussie. When I was a kid, I used to watch a show called Ozzie and Harriet, and I always thought that meant that he was an Australian. Do any of you remember that show? I guess it was uniquely American, I suppose. Anyway, I don't think he had a job in the series. All he did was sit around and eat ice cream. It was very bizarre. But at any rate, I'm digressing rather radically right off the get go here. But I did want to talk to you about these before I packed them up. This is Elite Force by Blue Box International. And I've showed you some of those before. And this one is a Commando, and he's a lieutenant, and they named him Peter Keys. Okay. And this is a really nicely detailed figure. BBI does an excellent job. Their head sculpts are really amazing too. Let's see if I can get that without getting that obnoxious light in there. You know what? The helmet is actually made of metal, which was kind of a cool feature. But look at the detail in this. It's really, really good. I can't say enough good things. He's got a rucksack. And this over here shows his equipment. He's got the Bren gun. Uh-oh, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. A cat snuck into my house last night and slept under my bed. And of course, I've been having allergies ever since. But I didn't get mad at it. I don't blame the thing. It was kind of uncomfortable last night. But the detail is just amazing on these things. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. Well, now you can tell I film live. I wasn't kidding. I really do film these without a script and just right off the cuff. I took these out of the box and here we go. And sometimes it goes well, and sometimes I have sneezing or other interruptions. The worst is when I can't think of what I'm trying to say or a thought escapes me. Like the other day, I wanted to tell you about a reenactment that I would go to once a year at Fort MacArthur in California, Southern California. It's near the port of Los Angeles, Long Beach, that area. And I ran into this guy that was dressed as an Imperial Japanese officer, and he was of Japanese ancestry, but he was an American, born and raised in America, and he looked awesome. I couldn't. I tell you what, guys, he looked so cool. It was unreal. And I said, how come more guys don't do this impression? And he said, part of the problem is it's illegal in Japan to dress up like the way he was. And he said, there is reenactors in Japan, but what they do is they keep all their gear and uniforms and equipment in a storage space, like in Guam. And that was the point of this story. I couldn't think of the word Guam. So I refilmed the video because the space between sentences was so long that it seemed like eternity. When you're grasping for your thoughts, it does seem like eternity, I'm afraid. But as you see, the detail is fabulous. He's wearing the bloomers, and he's wearing a cap, a watch cap. and a sweater. And you might ask, well, why is he wearing pants instead of shorts or a sweater or a cold weather cap? And the reason for that is in the desert at night, it would get extremely cold. And I remember going to a high elevation, and during the day, it was just terribly hot. And all of our clothes were wet from sweating. And then once the sun went down, the temperature started dropping, and it started dropping and going down and down. And I just froze that night. I couldn't believe it. I only brought one blanket and a gum blanket to put on the ground as a ground cloth. And someone, when they saw that I only had one blanket, they laughed because they said, "You're going to be really cold." And I'm like, "How is that possible? It's so hot here." Well, that night the temperature, I think, got into the 20s or 30s. Maybe it was in the 30s, but it was. I never did that again. The next time I went to that event, I brought several blankets with me and was still cold. But at the desert, the same thing happens. The temperature during the day is brutal. There's propaganda pictures of Germans frying an egg on the fender of a tank. Now the men didn't actually cook like that, but for propaganda purposes, it was a pretty powerful photograph. Uh, so that's why they had this kind of clothing, so that they wouldn't be too cold at night. He's got his rucksack. He's very well equipped here. And this is a really nice figure. I believe this is from 2001, but let's check it out because I might be mistaken. And it says here that it is, I can't see it, 2002? 2002. Blue Box International. This is Peter Key's British Commando. And he's very worthy of your collection, especially if you're into the North African campaign. Now, the next one up is one that you've seen already. Well, you didn't see this one, you saw another one. I think I bought 4 of these, and the reason I got so many is Target put them on clearance right after Christmas. And oddly enough, they never brought them out before Christmas. So they went clearance while they were in the stock room because they never sold any of them. I don't know quite why they did that. But he's got the Aussie bush hat. And he's wearing the khaki shorts. And he's got ankle boots and long stockings. And I can't figure out why Hasbro did this, but they included it with a flamethrower, and I'm like, are Aussies noted for having flamethrower? I don't know. But he shows that he has the European head sculpt, which is slightly rugged and maybe a little sinister looking. I'm not sure. He's got a trench knife that's got the brass knuckles, and he's got a machete and an entrenching tool that has a pickaxe on one end and a whole mess of hand grenades. And they tried. This was put out under the Timeless collection, but they also tried to feature the artwork from the original 1966 Joe. And let's see what else we can learn about this. There's the artwork for it. It's probably done by Joe Petrucci. I'm not sure how you say his name. There's a better picture of it right there. Hey, buddy, join the G.I. Joe Club today. Yes, it's G.I. Joe. For more fun, for more realistic action, it's G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe. I'm sorry, I get carried away. As soon as I see this, I gotta do that. All right, guys. So we have Empire forces here. We have a G.I. Joe Australian. This is, of course, what year did this G.I. Joe Australian come out? Well, originally in 66. I never had any of them. And they came out with a Russian, a German, a French Resistance, a Brit, an Australian, and an Imperial Japanese. And they're my favorite Joes, by the way. And I didn't get any of them. By 1966, Mom was kind of tired of the war toy thing, and uh, I never got anything again like that. So it says 2001. Yes, kids, G.I. Joe. Sorry, I won't do that again to you. You guys have been through enough already. Okay, so there's our Aussie, and here's Peter Keyes, the British Commando. And he is an awesome figure. Very well done. Very well done. And I give BBI the highest rating of all the figures that came out years ago. If you remember in the late 90s, these things were taken off like a rocket. And then all of a sudden, all at once, everything disappeared. And as you know, the only place you can get them now is online for really a lot of money. Now, I spent $388 for this, but if you were to buy it online, it's probably, I don't know, $25, $30. I'm not sure how much it is online. So I still have 3 of these remaining, this one and 2 others that are out of the package. Or maybe there's just one out of the package. And I did sell one. So I guess I had 4 or 5 of them. All right, guys, that's all I got for you this time. I want to thank you for coming along. Thank you for enlisting in Iggy's Army. For those of you who have recently joined up, we appreciate that very much, very much. It's nice to know that someone's out there. When I first began doing this, I had, I think, 7 subscribers. And they were all my family members. So I felt like, and they're not interested in this. It's sort of a limited audience for this, I guess. I have a friend. He's one of my army buddies. He's a real cool kid. I shouldn't call him a kid. He's in his 50s, for God's sake. But anyway, I had sent him some Marines and Japanese and palm trees and a tank, and I spent about $70. And I called him up and I said, "Be honest, did you like this present I sent you?" And he said, "No." And I'm like, well, I asked him to be honest. And he said, "I'm not a little boy. That's for children. I'm not a little boy." And I looked at the phone like, what? He feels very strongly, apparently, that collecting tanks and toy soldiers and the rest of that is very childish. And of course, I've had a lot of girlfriends who acted that way too. But there's a large segment of the population that thinks if you spend money on this, you're a fool, an idiot, and immature. Very immature. And that really startled me because I thought he would be more interested in it because he had been in the army, but nope. So what do you say about a guy who liked football when he was a boy and then likes football as an adult? Is he childish and immature? I don't know what to say, guys. For once, Iggy is at a loss for words. I'm still friends with him. I'm not going to change that over something like this. But in a way, it kind of hurt my feelings. But again, I asked for it, so, and he never indicated that he was interested in any of this, and I just kind of foisted it upon him because I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we could have something else to talk about? A shared hobby. And I wonder if any of you guys have been through that where it's hard to find people that share your hobby. I remember when I met my friend Doug. Uh, Doug was a religious man, and I proclaimed myself to be a hardcore atheist. And Doug didn't like that, but he stuck with me because trying to find someone that likes toy soldiers is near impossible. And later, because of three different near death experiences, I kind of got more agreeable to the idea of religion. I guess you change your mind real quick when you're dying, but somehow through a miracle, I guess I came through. And now the friends I had that were secular humanists, they don't want to talk to me now. So you can't win. You just can't win. But at any rate, I hope you guys are doing well and not experiencing things like that yourselves, because it's kind of a downer. All right, guys, hit the notification bell, hit the like thumbs up if you like this, and I'll try and do another video for you real soon. Take care, guys. Bye. Or should I say, cheers.